Hey there, Care Blazers. Welcome to the place where we talk about everything dementia. Today's video is part 3 of a 3-part series on driving and dementia. The video number 1 that I did was on signs you may be noticing that suggest your loved one is no longer safe to drive. Video 2 was on how you could go about formally finding out whether your loved one was safe to drive. And today's video number 3, is on one of the toughest parts on driving and dementia, and that is, how do you keep your loved one from driving when they are no longer safe to do so? So this is a challenge because you are often the enforcer or the person who is preventing them from driving. So you want to find ways to keep them from driving that doesn't lead to frequent arguments or resentment towards you. And you also want to find ways to keep them from driving that maintain their dignity without constantly having to remind them that they're not safe to drive. So if it's possible, get rid of the car. The car is a visual trigger. So if there's a car parked on the street, in the driveway, in the garage that they're used to driving, but all of a sudden they're not safe to drive that car anymore, getting rid of the car might be a way to help reduce some of the trigger they may be experiencing in wanting to drive. If that's not possible, you could consider disabling the car battery so that if your loved one got a hold of the car keys and tried to leave, the car would not move. Now, if that's also not possible because there's other people in the home who use the car, you really want to make sure that you find a place to keep the car keys that your loved one does not know about so that they can't get the keys and leave. The last thing we want to see is your loved one being injured in an accident or injuring other people in an accident, or even getting in the car and leaving and becoming completely lost about where they are. So if it's possible, find a nice hiding spot for the keys. Now, when it comes to you leaving the home with your loved one, this can also be a tricky situation because your loved one may want to try to take over the driving. My suggestion to you would be to grab the car keys, take the lead, be confident, and head straight to the car and grab the driver's seat, as if this is something that you're used to doing and is common for the relationship. If your loved one makes a comment about wanting to drive, you could just really say, I really want to drive today, or, I want to treat you like a VIP or like the president and chauffeur you around today. Say anything except for the fact that, no, you can't drive, you're no longer safe to drive. That's probably going to lead to some disagreements or arguments. So however you can take control of driving, keep the car keys out of their way, prevent them from getting behind the wheel in a way that doesn't highlight the fact that they're no longer able to drive. A lot of people with dementia don't necessarily agree with the decision that they're no longer safe to drive, especially because it's something that they've been doing for most of their life. So the other thing that's important when we talk about driving and dementia is if your loved one participated in some sort of activity that was very important for them or that they've done for a long time, you want to try to find a way for them to continue to do those things. So for instance, if your loved one went to church weekly, you may want to find somebody at that church who would be willing to drive them to church every week. You could talk with neighbors, close friends, family members, and see if there's some sort of agreed upon schedule that you could come up with to help your loved one stay social and do the things that are important for them. You could also check with local community agencies. Local churches sometimes have volunteer programs, and definitely check with your local area agency on aging. They have resources on low-cost transportation options that could be helpful for your loved one. Okay, I hope this video has been helpful for you. Feel free to leave a comment and let us know if you found any ways that have worked for you in terms of preventing your loved one from getting behind that wheel after they're no longer safe to drive. Thanks for tuning in. Bye.